Thank you so much for taking the time. I know we started a few minutes late here. I apologize. It's been number one a crazy, crazy month in a great way, and it's been even a crazier day. So since 9 a.m. Eastern, it has been very hectic with phone calls, messages through our website, on social media, emails, cell phone texts, all the above, and it's all for a great reason, which I'm going to talk about on the next slide here. But before I jump into this, what I do want to focus on today, right, which is most important right now, is our relationship with Columbus Life. And the reason why, and I'm sure most of you have heard of Columbus Life, and they're owned by Western Southern, which is one of the largest insurance companies in the world. So I know. In fact, we had our last VP. We had at our expo a few years back, and we always did a good job with them. But the reason why we're bringing them back front and center is because Keith Birkin, who I'm sure most of you know, or maybe you've heard of him from the LTC or living benefit world. He is now our VP, your VP with Columbus Life, and they have some new additions, some new product updates, technology, things that you need to be aware of. And some of these programs, underwriting niches, these things can change the way that you operate. And I know most of you aren't even aware that Columbus Life has this offering. So that's a huge part of why we wanted to have them back front and center today, almost like a relaunch, re-grand opening, call it whatever you want. But I think you're going to love some of these products and options and strategies that you're going to hear today. So what we're going to do real fast is we're going to talk about a few things here at Levinson, and then I'm going to run for about 7 to 8 minutes, and then Mr. Keith Birkin's going to take the wheel. Like I said, in about 8 minutes here, dive into the feature presentation. And then as soon as he's done, I'm going to take back the wheel and dive into some of the latest marketing strategies, some new programs that are now available to you, new technology. And then we have 2 giveaways at the end of the webinar right before 3 p.m. Eastern time. So we're giving away 2 sets of the new Apple AirPods and IUL prospecting books to the winners. Okay, so we're going to have, it's kind of like an open book test. One question has to do with our marketing playbook, and then one question has to do with all of the slides that you're going to see today. Okay, so pay attention. Make sure you're jotting down notes, questions, comments, feedback. We want to hear from all of you. Use that Q&A pane, or you can simply send us an email after or during, and or call as soon as we hang up and speak to any one of our marketers. And of course, we'll get you everything needed. And if you need contracting, we're going to send out a thank you email tonight. And inside of that thank you email, we'll have all of the Columbus Life resources, marketing material, contracting, everything you need to get started. Okay. And that'll be sitting in your inbox tonight. If you don't receive it, let me know. That means we have your incorrect email, or it's sitting in your spam folder. Okay, let's move forward. So back to what I was saying, October every year is a crazy month in a great way. So the reason why I say that, number one, right, here we are, fourth quarter, right, coming out of summer, and it's usually our last hurrah for the year. It's the big cases come in. Our agents are more successful than ever, typically in the fourth quarter. So it gets crazy. It's also my birthday month, and it's also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? As we know, Pinktober. So I dedicate every October to Pinktober. So what we do on Monday, we all wear pink. We'll do a group picture, and then we make a significant donation to the American Cancer Society. And then every year, we like to break our own records, right? And do the right thing and do the best thing and give back, right? That's what this is all about. Every paid application, the first 3 weeks of October, we're adding another $10 per application. And you know, at any given time, we have thousands of applications. So this is going to be huge. We're going to break records once again, and then we'll share this email with you all after Monday, the 20th. So it's a huge deal, okay? And to make it even bigger and better, we'll show you on the next slide here. Oh, there we go. Let's go to the next slide real fast. Okay, perfect. All right. So what I also want to talk about too, this is our big powwow of the year is our expo. And 2026, in fact, Keith already committed to being there. So you'll get to meet him in person and hear him speak for at least 20 to 45 minutes. So that's a big deal. Number two, you must register. It's complimentary, right? Until we hit our 300 agent max. That's all we can fit in that meeting room at their beachfront resort in Deerfield. So make sure you RSVP. It's complimentary once again. And then on the bottom right corner, this is a big deal. So it doesn't matter if you're writing supplemental critical illness products, guaranteed issue accident, or monster IULs, term, whatever. So every application counts towards qualifying at our expo. So you're saying, Bill, it's free. What do you mean qualifying? So what we do here is give you all a chance to fly in from anywhere in the country. We pay for round trip airfare and then 1 to 2 free nights on the sand in a beachfront 2-bedroom suite on us, complimentary. Okay, so starting at 40,000 up to 100,000 of combined premium, and then what we're doing is December, which is the biggest month of the year as far as production, right? Everyone's trying to get the last minute apps in. So we're doing double credit, okay? So again, the 40 is only 20 and the 100 goes down to 50. So you're going to get double credit with all apps in December. So that gives you a great opportunity for a staycation, vacation in South Florida on the beach. And then, of course, our expo, which is going to be bigger and better than ever. The hashtag Stack the Bricks in 26. And then there's the final part I wanted to mention. So you probably have seen it. If we can just back up for 1 second, Gregory, I want to just share real fast. So at 9 a.m. this morning, we had a huge press release. We announced a partnership. So think about this. Since 1972, right? And I don't want to take anything away from Keith and Columbus Life's presentation today, because we're going to have a whole nother separate training just on this topic. But it happens to be the day the press release was announced, and here we are, right? We're doing this since 1972. Kerry started the company, and we became a top 10 life and annuity IMO, right? And in fact, the last 7 to 8 years with Insure Me Now Direct, all of the great tools, technology, over 24,000 agents, right? Huge feather in our cap. But the one big part that we were missing, okay, and a lot of you have asked for it, was, Bill, when are you going to open a health insurance department? So, and we kept saying, oh, we're working on it, we're so close. And when we were going to do this in-house in South Florida at our Coral Springs location, and after a ton of interviews and digging in to find out about education and carriers and what it takes to be competitive and successful with lead programs and all the above, right? We decided to partner up with the #1 health insurance IMO, AmeriLife. So we literally announced this partnership at 9 a.m. this morning, and that's why the phone's been off, literally ringing off the hook. Our inbox is on fire. But it's all a great thing because our agents are saying, Bill, this is amazing. So now I get everything that you offered before. On top of that, all of the great health insurance perks, all of the agent benefits, all of the contracts, lead programs, everything that they offer above and beyond your platform. And you and Kerry still run it and nothing changes as far as that goes. The answer is yes, yes, and yes. So that's why we're super excited. And at the expo, we're going to have a keynote speaker there from AmeriLife, from the health side. So first expo ever, right, since 72, where we're actually going to have all bases covered, life, annuity, and health, right? So one-stop shop for all of the Levinson agents. And we couldn't be any more excited. So I guess that's really the point here. And what I want to do is you'll see an email probably this week or early next week that talks about our first official webinar training based on just this topic. So you know everything that you can utilize now and in the future. So again, super excited. Could never do it without you all. All right, let's keep moving forward. What I want to do next is talk about what's most important to us is you as our customer, our agents. We don't sell on a retail level at all, right? That's a conflict of interest, as we know, should be illegal, in my opinion. But we all understand here at Levinson that our agents are number one. We have to support you. You make a sale, we win. Okay, period. We don't have a call center in the back area of the office. No, right? You are our number one customer. When we see these reviews on Facebook or on our Google reviews link, that's everything. Okay, that's what's close to our heart. That's what you talk about. Now we have 24 employees in 4 different states. Our latest marketer is from Lincoln, Nebraska. She's starting next Friday. But the point is, everyone sees these reviews come in, right? Our case managers, our contracting department, marketing team. And at the end of the day, right, this is what drives us to be the best, to be better and better every day, and to move the needle internally, right? For when it comes time for bonus and luncheons and annual reviews. So please keep sharing, okay? And I know we're not perfect, right? This 99%, I feel like we're going to jump in and do everything we can do to make it right. But 1% of the time, yeah, you might have a bad taste in your mouth, but I'm encouraging you, reach out to me or Carrie. We'll try to spin that around and turn it into a positive. All right, let's keep moving. I just have one more slide and then Keith will take the wheel. So this is our newsletter. So you will have this in your inbox every other week. Everything that's going on here at Levinson, especially with this new partnership, right, is going to be in one page, one image you can click on, and then everything is at your fingertips. So you don't have to go to 115 different websites, right, to see what's hot, what's not, what companies are not around, what new companies are here, what products are gone, what products are launched. Everything is a one-stop shop in the newsletter. Let's keep moving. My last slide here is our top GUL and IUL products of the year. So when we're talking about competitive premium, guarantees, cash values, right, living benefits, simplified issue underwriting, okay, these are our top picks, period. So we have access to everything, but there's a reason why, right? Check out the GUL space, Columbus Life, Protective, Pac Life, Nationwide, right? They're all superstars, and they each have a niche that makes them unique, that makes them different and special. And what I'm saying is you need to have access to everything to be competitive. And what you're going to hear, well, I don't even want to steal any of Keith's thunder, but you're going to hear the story in just a second. IUL carriers, again, bottom section there, you're going to see some of our top IUL superstar companies. Again, top left, Columbus Life. You're going to hear, again, the reasoning in just a minute. Okay, with that said, my friend Keith Birkin is here to join us, our new VP with Columbus Life. Keith, are you there?
I am here, Bill. I mean,
thank you.
Yeah, yes, I am. Oh, there's hold on a second. Okay. We are good to go. All right, great. Bill, I'm ready to roll.
Okay, great. We are good. Yep, I can see your screen.
I see my screen. Just want to make sure. Okay, great. Thanks so much for having me on again. It's so wild. I go back so long with the Levinson family. They're like family to me as well. I mean, going back to my Genworth, One America, and now Columbus Life days. And I just want to echo a couple of things that Bill said. Number one, if you haven't been to their expo, I mean, I'm doing this a long time, 25 years in the insurance industry as a wholesaler, and I have done, I mean, at least 500 different conferences, either at the BGA level, the IMO level, LIMRA, NAILBA, all of them. And I could safely say, at the risk of sounding obsequious, that Levinson Expo is the mother of all expos. It is truly the pinnacle. It's done with, it's a first class event. Usually all the topics and the speakers are so well done, 20 and 40 minutes a pop. So if you haven't been, I can't emphasize enough. It's something that you definitely want to get yourself to. And I'll also just, one other thing, the partnership with AmeriLife is huge. I actually just came from working at AmeriLife. It is a tremendous organization. So to see the partnership between AmeriLife and Levinson, two behemoths of the industry partnering on this, kudos, Bill. That's a heck of a win for both of you guys. So So congratulations, and I love that. All
Thank
right,
you,
so on
Keith.
to the good stuff. Let's excited to talk. I'm really excited to talk about not just our products, the solutions. I want to show you, listen, IUL, it's definitely a crowded marketplace, GUL, as well. I want to kind of highlight where, from a nuance standpoint, what are our strong points? What are the things, that you're going to want to see, you're going to want to hear, that where we stand out from the competition. And where it's going to be easy for you to bring us into conversations that you might not just be seeing, maybe from some of the IUL carriers that you're using right now. So the first thing, like Bill said, Columbus Life, we're under the Western Southern umbrella. We're a Fortune 300 company. Western Southern is the parent company for Columbus Life, Lafayette Life, Gerber, Integrity, very, very large organization. So our financial fortitude is one of our best stories. We have a 95 Comdex, and our ratings across the board are absolutely positively superior. And again, with an industry, like Universal Life, specifically IUL, the company behind the products, to me, is as important, if not more, than the illustrations and the products that you're seeing. It's one of our strong points, and we'll talk about that. Number one, obviously, exceptional financial strength, very competitive products, but one of my favorite things is our products and our illustrations are straightforward. There's a little bit of a black and blue mark in the IUL landscape. You hear it all the time. You put your clients into a policy, you show an illustration 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, when you're running an in-force illustration and doing a policy review, how is that policy looking? What I love about us is we are very straightforward with that. Our illustrations, what you see, is very much what you're going to get 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road. As a matter of fact, when AG 49 came out, and there was an AG 49A and then another revision, AG 49B, and for those of you that don't know what that is, that was the government putting out a stipulation that illustrations on IULs, and I think just Universal Life, have to be limited in what they can show. They have to be toned down. As far as I understand, Columbus Life is the only carrier in the industry that didn't have to change our illustration software around the AG 49 settings, because we were already presenting conservative illustrations. So you're going to feel really good and confident in knowing that what you're putting in front of your clients today, when you're doing your policy reviews, which you really need to be doing, you're going to look very good down the road. And not to mention, we have a very solid compensation structure in things like with persistency bonuses, trails, and renewals, and we will talk about that. But let's get into our competitive product suite, starting with our flagship product, which is our indexed universal life, which we call Explorer. And there's 3 flavors to this. We have our Explorer, the IUL, which is for an individual. Then we have not a lot of carriers in this landscape, but we've got a survivorship IUL. It's a joint life second to die. And one of my favorite things to talk about is our IUL now. It's just our indexed IUL, our Explorer IUL, but with an express underwriting application. And you're going to absolutely love that for clients that are 60 and under. It's what I call the easy button. This is in and out, issued, generally approved, in and out within a week. No medical, no paramed, no medical records. We're not doing phone interviews. It's a really nice solution for clients that are under 60, and still really good benefits on that. From an allocation option, we have 5 different crediting strategies, starting with, look at this, our fixed rate is at 5.25%. It's a very healthy fixed rate. So for those people that are looking for guarantees in their IUL, we have a GUL as well, which we'll talk about in a minute, that shares that same guarantee rate, but it's a very nice 5.25% guarantee. We have our capped point-to-point index, our uncapped point-to-point index, our monthly average, and of course our balance growth. Most people are coming into this and our default is our capped point-to-point. Why? It just looks so good. First of all, we've got a 0% guarantee. So again, different than a VUL, you can never lose. You can only take place or take part in all the wins that their monies are going to come in and how that the S&P is performing. And by the way, we just had a market adjustment on our market cap. So if they choose to go with the 0% guarantee, meaning they'll never lose money, but if the market absolutely tanks, it'll be 0% growth. The cap on this is 11%. So you guys know how that works. Let's say the S&P shoots up 15, 20%. The cap is now 11%. It just changed from 10.75. The other option is they can choose a 1% guarantee. So no matter what happens, even if the floor falls out from the market, they're always going to get a minimum of 1% interest, and that market cap is a little bit less. Most people just tend to go with the 0% guarantee and get that nice 11%. Our uncapped, of course, it's uncapped. It's going to do whatever the market does. So you can take advantage of all the massive gains if the market has it. But of course, there is a spread on that of 7%. But we do have a minimum threshold of 3% on that as well. And our uncapped monthly average has a very healthy participation rate of 110%. But look what we're illustrating on our illustration, even though we're pretty consistently seeing our capped out. If you look at our performance history, we're very often hitting the market cap. We're illustrating on our illustration 6.68%. Again, to stay in line with AG 49. We have a lot of interesting ways to help drive your commissions. And we have a lot of interesting ways to help drive more value to the client with their premium dollars. The first is we offer a persistency bonus. So for clients that bought their policy and they were issued between the ages of 30 and 79, we reward them after their 11th policy year. We're going to give them a 50 basis points persistency bonus on top of what they're already earning in their marketing strategy. If they were issued their policy under the 29 and under, it's a 25 basis point bonus after year 11. We're always in the lab trying to make our solutions a little better. One thing that we did as agents and advisors, you're going to love this. It was an average between 12 to 18% increase on our target premium for all of the IUL products, the individual, the survivorship, and our IUL now. We made it a little easier on the underwriting requirements for juveniles, no lab work now. We require lab work between the ages of 0 and 17. And then we improved the rating for marijuana use. If you're using marijuana less than twice a week, it's become so popular in the states where medical marijuana is allowed, you can still get a non-tobacco. So we're always trying to do things to help that. Now, of course, we got to talk about living benefits. This is something that's obviously very near and dear to me, coming from the long-term care hybrid LTC world for literally the last 25 years. But this is a huge, massive value and added benefit. And there is no IUL that does chronic illness, LTC, living benefits, whatever you want to call it, quite like Columbus Life does. And if you don't think this is important, let me tell you something. You need to understand what's going on right now if you haven't experienced this yet in your family. And these numbers, by the way, are a little off. The chances that an individual is going to need long-term care once they've reached the age of 65 is about 75%. The chances that a couple, one of them will need long-term care, husband and wife, is about 82%. And I can tell you the rising cost of long-term care, people are seeing it all over the place, is absolutely maddening. And a lot of people are using their family members to become caregivers, and it causes a lot of animosity in the family. So where we're different, we call it our accelerated death benefit rider. Number one, it is defined. You will know exactly what it is when you need to activate it and go on claim. It's a very easy calculation. It's basically all of your cash value plus 40% of your net amount at risk. Can't tell you how many 101G products or ULs that have a chronic illness or living benefit. It can be very fairly often undefined what that benefit is going to look like. Ours is 100% clearly defined, and it's actually defined right there on the illustration. There's no additional underwriting. You get approved, you have your policy, you have your accelerated death benefit rider on it. When you need to activate this and you go on claim, unlike all long-term care carriers, even the hybrid long-term care carriers, where they're going to send out a third-party assessment to see if you are viable for long-term care claim, none of that is done here. Your doctor says you can't meet 2 out of the 6 ADLs, boom, you are getting your claim. And on top of that, you'll always have a remaining death benefit. Coming from a hybrid long-term carrier for the last 8 years, I can tell you right now, this solution goes toe to toe with the hybrids. But the difference is you're getting a real death benefit and you're getting a real LIRP strategy, a life insurance retirement strategy as well, real cash value, real death benefit, and real long-term care benefits. It's built in on all of our life products, on the GUL, and even our term, which is convertible to the GUL and can then get the accelerated death benefit rider as well. There's no additional upfront cost, no underwriting. It's a straightforward formula. And I want to show you a little example of what an illustration would look like and what that benefit would be. So let's go right here and show you. This was an illustration that I pulled on a 60-year-old male paying $1,500 a month into his policy. And they're getting this. This is a great strategy for retirement. At the end, all this money is coming in. He's building up nice cash value. As you can see here, by the time he's 85, it's got almost $500,000 in cash value, which the way IUL, the way these work, you can pull this money out, get it out without paying tax because it's a loan. That's why a lot of people are buying ULs or buying IULs. We put a increasing death benefit on this up to the age of 80 and then leveled it out, which is a really nice way to design this. So we have a significant death benefit of $868,000 and change. So this is where we're a little different than the hybrid solution for long-term care. You're not seeing death benefits like this or anything like this for this kind of cash value. But at age 85, this 60-year-old, at age 85, if he was to use this for long-term care, you come over here and you look at the chronic illness max lump sum advance amount, it's defined. He's going to have almost $620,000 available for long-term care benefits. No additional underwriting, no questions asked. And you know where this really separates itself from the hybrid policies and the long-term care policies is they're all mired behind a daily benefit maximum or a monthly maximum. You can't go over this monthly amount, or you've got to wait 90 or 100 days before you use it. With this lump sum, that's exactly what it is. It is a cash lump sum in hand, 100% tax-free, that can be used entirely for long-term care benefits. No monthly maximum, no waiting period. Here's your long-term care pool all up front. I love this for people that are considering this as a possible solution for long-term care. As far as our compensation, this is one of our absolute positive separators. I don't think anyone can boast all the different ways that we are coming up and adding value into how we're compensating both our agencies and our agents. Number one, our target premiums are pretty high. We're right there with everyone else, and in a lot of instances, looking better than a lot of the other IUL carriers. But what I love this is we have unlimited rolling targets. So if your target premium is higher than the modal premium that's coming in, you are going to get your first year comp until your target is hit. It doesn't matter how many years it takes to hit it. That is absolutely amazing. We also pay renewals on those premiums for 12 years, and we'll pay excess commission as well. And a lot of people are doing that, but where we're different, and I don't know of almost any carrier that could boast this, is on top of the unlimited rolling targets, on top of the renewals, we're also paying lifetime cash value trails. So a percentage of the cash value that's building will be paid out in the form of trails on top of the renewals that you're already getting. So there's a lot of compensation that can be earned with our solution. With our survivorship IUL, our joint life second to die, this is a phenomenal story because our price is quite simply the very best in the industry. Again, there's not a lot of carriers that are writing survivorship IULs, but for those that are here, we're looking at a $3 million face value for a 45, 55, and 60-year-old. And in all three of these cells, we are beating the competition from a price standpoint, and you're getting all the great benefits with the IUL, including the accelerated death benefit rider, the long-term care benefit. So the survivorship, you know, there's the survivorship IUL is a great strategy for couples that are coming into the game a little bit later. Maybe they're in their late 50s, early 60s. They haven't had much of a retirement strategy in place yet. This is great because it's going to bring those premiums down a bit. They're not as concerned with the death benefit. Of course, it's a joint life second to die, but it's a great way to bring those premiums down. And if they're starting a little bit later in the game on their accumulation, our SIUL looks phenomenal. Again, those premiums are really just right there. I love talking about what I call our easy button. This is our IUL, the Explorer IUL, but this is our express underwriting solution. It's fast, it's easy, it's quick. All of this, by the way, can be done with the exception of the survivorship IUL. All of this can be done on an e-application. So our IUL now, which is fast, rapid issue, is available for anyone under the age of 60. Let's kind of go into the specs on this. So if you are 50 and under, you could still get a death benefit even with this fast, expedited, easy underwriting of up to $1 million with the minimum amount of death benefit of $25,000. If you're 60 and under, you can get a maximum death benefit with this expedited underwriting of $250,000. Now, if it comes back, and by the way, all we're doing is we're running an RX report, we're doing an MIB, and that's it. No paramed, no medical records, no phone interviews, that's it. If something comes back that we don't like, it's not going to necessarily kick out the policy. We can just convert you over to traditional underwriting, and the client still has the opportunity to go ahead and get coverage with us. So, you know, I love how we talked about comp. I talk about it a lot. We got the trails that, you know, is so different from where you're not going to see any of the other carriers offering, of course, renewals from years 2 to 12 and those unlimited rolling targets. I want to talk about our other universal life solution, and that's our GUL. This is our Voyager, and I know the guys at Levinson really like writing the GUL. It's a big part of what they do. You know, for your clients that are looking for just protection, they want the guarantee. They're not as concerned about accumulation. This is a phenomenal solution. It's available for people 79 and under. We do have a no lapse guarantee benefit. We'll talk about that. Even if the cash value falls to zero, the policy is going to remain in force as long as, of course, it passes the premium test. And those no lapse guarantee premiums are on 90, 95, and 100 year, up to ages 90, 95, and 100. 3 optional durational guaranteed choices. People love these guarantees. And I'll tell you, the accelerated death benefit rider is on our GUL as well. We have a great incentive trip. We have 2 actually. This year it's going to be Boston and Ireland, so you could qualify. Granted, we're already in October, but just to give you an idea of the kind of trips that we offer, these are available for agents and, of course, as agencies as well. And I want to mention a couple things that we didn't talk about yet. Number one, we have a term product. What I love about our term is it is convertible. It can convert right into our GUL, and you can add those living benefits without any additional underwriting. This is a huge value add here. We will table shave on our GUL and our IUL, and it's just built in. So we will take you from a table C to standard on both our IUL and our GUL. So if you're quoting someone on a term policy and they're getting rated, why not bring them over to our GUL? We can rate them down from a table C to standard and put them in permanent life insurance and get them on a guarantee. We talked about our fixed rate is at 5.25% on our IUL, but we also have a premium deposit account. So for people that are 1035ing over big lump sums, or for people that are just looking to invest a lump sum, and they want to avoid the load fees. And by the way, our load fees are really, really reasonable. I think they're around 7% up on a single premium. But if they don't like the idea of mecking out the policy, you can drop that money into our premium deposit account and get that still guaranteed rate on the PDA of 5.25%. We also will do premium financing. Not a huge part of what we do, but there are some players that are still dabbling in this field, and we will do premium financing. And something else that is not nearly taken advantage of enough, a lot of people don't know how to have this conversation with their clients that own businesses, but with our Lafayette Life sister company, they have a retirement services division available, which we can tap into. The value of that is you can take your business owners that you're working with that are just in major cash flow scenarios, lawyers, doctors, accountants that are just bringing in a lot of income, and they're already maxing out their IRAs or 401ks. You put them into a cash balance plan, they could take about $380,000 from their business every year, put this into the cash balance, and that is, they're not going to pay tax on that. That would be tax deferred, and they can implement a profit sharing plan with their employees. And we prefer this to be with small companies. We love the single sole proprietor or 2-3 man shop. We actually prefer organizations that are under 30 people. And the idea is in that cash balance plan, you can put 25% of that into an IUL, the rest into an annuity. So it's a great way to sell some solutions, save your clients a lot of money on taxation. If that's something at all that you're interested in, reach out to your marketer who you're working with at Levinson. We can go ahead and we can set up some calls with our retirement services specialist that handles Florida. But it's a great way to get into some good conversations with business owners that are really, really cash heavy. So look at that. We got in with 15 minutes left. Really excited to be on the call and get this FaceTime with you guys. I'll tell you, if you have any questions, you've got incredible support with your marketers at Levinson. They know these products inside and out. I'll tell you, don't be afraid. Take a stab and look at what an illustration would look like. I know a lot of people have their favorite IUL and GUL carriers, but it doesn't hurt to run another illustration and take a look at some of these really unique nuances, that we have that you're not going to see with a lot of the other carriers. So, Bill, I am going to cede back to you and say, of course, thank you for having me on the call. You know how much I love being with you guys and being with your agents and advisors.
We appreciate you, Keith, just as much, if not more. You're like an extended family to us, and I just hope everyone gets a chance to meet Keith at the expo. And I'll also say, if you have a case you're working on, obviously we're here to hold your hand. But if we need to patch Keith in as well, he can also jump in on a call, a Zoom, a meeting, whatever, to help you push it over the line. So I think that's a great resource as well. Okay, good stuff. So let's, if we can jump into the how to get started slide. I want to show everyone where the contracting is. And then I have a few sales ideas, some new resources, and then we'll put a bow on this. But actually, before we put the bow on, we have 2 giveaways, so don't forget that. Okay. How to get started. So real fast, what we're going to do again, you will have an email in your inbox tonight before we wrap up. with all of this included. But if you go to our website on the homepage, it'll say contracting. You follow the yellow arrow, and then you'll see Columbus Life right-hand side. And think about this for a second. If you already have a Columbus contract, maybe you haven't used it, whatever, you want to move it over to Levinson, we match or most of the time beat your commissions. And then we give you cash for contracting when you move your contract and you write your first app, or free orphan leads with your first paid app with Columbus. So either way, it's a win-win-win across the board. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to do now is show you how easy it is, right? Even on the permanent products with Columbus on our website, everything is streamlined and automated. I'm going to show you a quick example. So if you look at the left-hand side, just like you use our term quoter, okay, the same thing goes for the permanent products now, which is part of iSolve. So you'll have the term insurance quoter on our website, and then of course you'll have the permanent option, which is iSolve. And you go in, right, put in the basic information. Here's what's so cool. On the bottom left corner, you can choose GUL, IUL, and then look what happens on the top right corner. You're going to see Columbus front and center. You click apply, right? Listen to this. It takes all of the demographics you just entered, right? Let's say even if you're on the phone with a client or Zoom or webinar or face-to-face on your iPad, all of the information gets populated over to the e-app. You fill in a few missing blanks, boom, enter. You just wrote an application A to Z in less than 10 minutes. So it's very simple now. It's not like it was years and years ago with 52 pieces of paper for especially an IUL application. Very, very easy. And Columbus is part of the iSolve solution. All right, let's keep moving forward. By the way, on top of that, we have 2 automated underwriting programs, right? That let's just say that you have a client, 5'10", 310 pounds, they're on 6 medications, and you don't know, are they going to fall into the table shave program with Columbus, or can they get standard with no, whatever it is, right? You can use X-Ray, which is also built into the site, or the eGenius underwriting platform. So you get to pick. They're both complementary and they're both automated into the system. So it makes your life so much easier. Okay, above and beyond that, with Columbus, I know Keith touched on some of the great bullets. The external conversion program is awesome. So think about this, right? External term from any of the traditional companies. You wrote a term policy 3 years ago. Okay, you could convert that to a permanent option with Columbus, as long as it falls into those top 5 bullets in the center section there, which, by the way, this will also be in your thank you email, but very simple, 18 to 65, up to $1 million, and it's preferred or standard within 5 years. And then you get all the living benefits and all the bells and whistles on top of it. So again, makes it very, very simple, especially if that term company, right, that you sold doesn't have a great conversion product, which happens all the time. Let's keep moving forward. Table shave, right? This is a huge deal. And most agents think Lincoln was the only carrier that has the shave program. Okay, not true. So again, Columbus, front and center on top, they shave off a real 3 tables. There's no gray area, small print. Okay, table 1, 2, 3, boom, standard. Okay, then Lincoln Financial. Okay, we know how they work, very similar. On the bottom, this is another big deal. So Allianz has the rate up program. So until end of year, this is not permanent, but it's till end of year. They will give you a standard, right? Let's say a standard risk approval, you get preferred best. Okay, table rated goes to standard. Same on the tobacco side. So that's a big deal. On the bottom, Mutual of Omaha has a 2-table reduction program as part of their fit underwriting. So term and permanent. So that's another great niche because term also applies. Let's keep moving forward. By the way, any questions, especially on marketing, call any one of our marketers, email, phone call, whatever you prefer, but they will help you with all of this because I know it could get confusing with all these carriers. Okay, so another huge bullet for Columbus, they are part of our scholarship program. So again, think of you're selling whatever, the GUL, the IUL, even the term product, okay, especially on conversion. All of those products are approved for the scholarship program. Every point is $1 of scholarship, and every year the policy is in force, well, guess what happens? Another 4,500 points. So that adds up, right, to over 50,000 points. What does it mean? $50,000 of scholarship. What does it cost the client? Nothing. What does it cost the agent to market these policies and programs? Zero. Okay, not a penny. So it's a win-win-win. We can get you set up. Once you're appointed with the company, we can get you set up as a Sage approved agent in less than 10 minutes. Okay, no reason why you should not be a Sage approved agent, especially look at the list of carriers on the right hand side. And then Columbus is front and center, top right corner. Let's keep moving. Okay, I'm going to go quick. This is a survivorship IUL sales idea. So we all know on a survivorship policy, right? As long as one person is insurable, typically we are okay, right? Columbus has a great program here. But what I love about the strategy here is, let's say we take their it's called actually joint survivorship IUL plan, right? Let's say the husband passes away before the wife. The spouse takes a tax-free loan from the cash value account, right? Keeping the policy active for her beneficiaries, also creating a tax-free death benefit at the time of need. So it's a win-win-win across the board, especially when one person isn't insurable. So they have great cash accumulation on top of the living benefits. That's a great option if you have a couple, or great for business owners too. So if you have the need, let us know and we'll jump in with illustrations. Let's keep moving forward. What I want to do next is talk about some of the top social media posts that are working right now, today, currently. Okay. And I'm going to tell you something else while I have everyone on. So if you aren't marketing on social media, you already know, right, how I feel. You're literally riding a horse in reverse around New York City in 2025, which should not be allowed. Okay. You got to get the word out. And these days, think about this, right? We're in fourth quarter, 25. These days, we have a complete turnkey library. This is all free. We can even co-brand these posts for you, right? You can just pick and choose whatever you like. We co-brand your name, phone number, picture of you, whatever you like. Okay, your logo, it doesn't matter. So that's number one. Number two, go into Chat GPT and put in a search, okay? And you can literally create anything. You can put in indexed universal life marketing, and it will create a post for you. There's just no more excuses. But here's what I love. These two performed awesome, okay? And here's what I wanted to point out. Over 1,000 likes, okay? Over, what is that, almost 50 shares and 6 comments. So you as the agent, I would be reaching out to every person that liked or commented or shared your post. That's a potential new free lead or prospect, okay? And what is so important to me, if I had my agent hat on, this isn't rocket science, okay? This is very black and white, just getting the word out to your network, your family members, your friends, the network members from the cigar club. It doesn't make a difference. But check this out. Insurance, right? What is it? A means of protection from financial loss. You can choose buy it later at a more expensive rate or buy it today where it's more affordable. Okay. It's just enough to be dangerous. The right-hand side, moments in life that call for life insurance. Okay. It's just pulling the covers back to where your prospects say, oh my gosh, you know what? I just had a baby. I didn't even think about this. Okay, Bill, can you give me a quote? What does $1 million run? Okay, for 20 years. And that is when you show them how inexpensive term is, and then bring up GUL and IUL and living benefits and talk about retirement savings, right? And then the doors open and it's up to you at that point. So you got to get the word out. That's really my point here. And by the way, go in Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, do a search. Just put in indexed universal life, and then it'll say recent posts or top performing. I would click top performing, see what's working well for others. Okay, it's not difficult. Let's keep moving. I'm going to go quickly here. I know we're getting late. I'm going to get everyone out before 3 p.m. Eastern. Bill Levinson Experience. If you haven't checked this out, you need to. Okay, especially now. We've had some of the best episodes. So, for example, Kent, This was 61. This was an hour interview. Me and Kent, one-on-one. I have my agent hat on. I pretend I'm you, right? And I want to know what's working for Kent and how did he figure this out? How did he become a top 10 Levinson agent in 2025? That's what we talk about. It's complimentary. You have nothing to lose. Do it at the gym, at your yoga class, when you're walking around the block, put your headphones in. Okay, who cares? But if you can walk away with a nugget, right, or two or three, it's worth it. So these are agents that are crushing it, okay, and you can learn from them. Anyway, 62 that we're going to launch this month. So the next one is going to be with a great annuity agent of ours that's in the top, I would say, 5 to 10. So that's going to be 62. Keep your eyes peeled for that. I'm going to host it with RJ and then one of our top annuity agents. It's going to be a fun one. Episode 62. Again, that'll launch the end of this month. Manhattan Life. So this is coming up, a complimentary breakfast training here in South Florida. If you're an agent in Florida, you should be at these. Again, complimentary, November 7th, 9 to 12. Make sure you're there, especially if you're selling health insurance, P&C, even life, right? This is a great way to sell a lot of the low-hanging fruit type products. They're awesome. They also have a great virtually guaranteed issue long-term care alternative product. You talk about door openers, okay? If the client can answer the questions no, boom, it's approved, and they're on Insure Me Now Direct. This is a no-brainer. Manhattan Life, again, on the 7th. Let's keep moving. Almost done. Okay, this is our menu events. So think about this. You're at dinner tonight, right? You don't know if you want salad, appetizers, entrees. This is the Levinson training menu of events. Okay, it's that simple. The left-hand side, everything that is coming up in October and early November. Right-hand side is rolling into November and then early December. And then we'll have a few more to edge out 2025. But the point is, life, annuities, we have you covered. And then you're going to see a health webinar. That's the launch I was talking about earlier. So keep your eyes peeled for that too. And a whole new suite of agent benefits, not client benefits, agent benefits that we're now able to offer, right, as part of this new partnership. So I'm telling you right now, the best is yet to come. We're going to wrap up with our final slide here and our Positive Tuesday quote and our 2 questions of the day. And I know we are going to end on time, which is great to see. So real fast, left-hand side is our Positive Tuesday quote. Actually, this was at one of the breakfast trainings, this picture that we're all looking at right now. And the quote is, don't aim for a life without problems or stress. Aim to be resilient enough to handle them, right? No matter what they throw at you, guess what? Right? You're going to have this bulletproof shield. You got this, okay? Because it's going to happen sooner or later, but you got to protect yourself. You got to be strong, right? You got to put the word out. You got to build your practice. You got to be tough, right? When those hard days come up, which are going to happen, okay? And other than that, you keep pushing forward, just like our story since 1972. Wasn't easy, right? But it's all worth it at the end of the day. And that's how you should look at life itself, personal and business. With that said, we're going to have our 2 questions right now. So you got to get your little fingers on the keyboard and you got to answer first and correctly. We actually have Gregory here hosting today's webinar. So we'll give him a big thank you. And he's going to, I'm going to ask the question and then he's going to tell us who answered first and correct. And remember, we have 2 questions. The first one has to do with our webinar today. And the second one, I don't know if you remember from last week, but I asked everyone to review the marketing playbook. The week before, we did the contracting playbook. Now we're doing the marketing playbook. And then next week is going to be the new business playbook, which we'll send out in our thank you email. So you got to review that when you get a chance. First question is, we are talking about Columbus Life today. So they have a simplified issue, no exam limit. What is that number? They go up to what amount for no exam? Simplified issue underwriting with Columbus. What's the max death benefit for no exam underwriting? Gregory's going to tell us who was first and who was correct. We have a winner.
Okay, thank you, Bill. The winner
Yep.
is Terry S. Terry S. And the answer was 1 million.
Terry S., congrats. 1 million is the max. That's right, Gregory. Thank you. And congrats, Terry. We got one more question, so one more second here. So this has to do with our marketing playbook. I also touched on it briefly during this webinar. We have 2 complimentary underwriting platforms that we offer to all of our agents. You tell me the name and you win. We have 2 automated underwriting platforms, okay, that you all can leverage through our website, levinsonassociates.com. Tell me the name of each one. There's 2. Tell me the name of each one, and you win Apple AirPods IUL prospecting book. Gregory's going to say who was first and correct. We got a few coming in.
All right. Yes, and with the correct answer, we have a Dennis S. Dennis S., and the answer was X-Ray and eGenius.
X-Ray and eGenius. Congrats, Dennis S. That was awesome. So with that said, be on next week, okay? Make sure you go over the new business playbook. And I want to say congrats to the 2 winners and congrats to all of you because I know you learned something today, right? Especially with Columbus, our platform, our new partnership. Keep your eyes peeled for the thank you email. Reach out with any questions. Great selling. And thank you. By the way, one last thing, go leave a review. Facebook, Google review, link, and you're all a winner because you all get the IUL prospecting book. As long as you're an active agent, it's free on us. Thanks again. Great selling.